Hello, everybody. Holy crap, that camera's way offline right there. They can see everything to the opposite side. Ah, yes, there we go. Yes, technical difficulties all the time. Every time. You know it's not an actual show unless I've got some technical difficulties or whatnot. Hello, how are you doing? I'm good, I guess. There, now I'm better. I'm Doug Lackey, veteran columnist of Wrestleview.com and the co-host of Wrestleview Live, alongside the effervescent editor-in-chief Mike Tedesco, or the SmackDown recapper Mike Roy Nemmer, or whoever the hell else could be the co-host of Wrestleview Live, as we cover all of the major WWE pay-per-views immediately following them right here on the Wrestleview YouTube channel. It is May the 23rd, 2021. Oh boy, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Oh man, lots of stuff happening in the worlds of the WWE and the professional wrestling and all of that good stuff, as long as the microphone can stay put. Wow, man, how are you guys doing? I'm doing okay now. Man, this collar to my Lance Storm t-shirt's really, really tight, man. But I'm doing fantastic, even though I just got off, sorry I'm a little late, was listening to the Cleveland Indians baseball game. Unfortunately, we lost. That's okay. Still a young season. That's all good. I have been watching the Carolina Hurricanes in the NHL playoffs, but I missed the game because I was listening to the baseball game. So I hope that they're doing okay. When I saw we were ahead in the series against Nashville 2-1 in the first round of the NHL playoffs. So it's been really fun watching the hockey and watching the playoff games here in North Carolina over in Raleigh with a full crowd. Well, not actually a full crowd. They had 12,000 people in the stands for the Hurricanes Nashville Predators 2 hockey games. And it's amazing to watch people in auditoriums now, in arenas now. Gosh, it was so refreshing to see 12,000 people all wearing masks. Because they're even though the mask mandate has been lifted here in the state of North Carolina, some arenas and businesses are still allowed to enforce a mask mandate, and PNC Arena in Raleigh chose to do so. Good on them. But 12,000 strong in the arena, which big news earlier last week from the WWE that live touring is returning. That's right. Live touring returning for the WWE starting July 16th and 17th, I believe. 15, 16, 17. Very first live event will be the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. That will be happening in July. And so, what better time today than to do some fantasy booking for next year's Wrestlemania? Now that we know that we are going to be having some live crowds, oh, I'm psyched. And on top of, well, first off, on the show, you got my top 5 things to pay attention to from last week's Double E. Lots of fun stuff that you may not know is happening in the Double E from a show that you probably don't watch on the regular, but I love me the fun, stupid stuff. Okay, you all know that. And there is some fun, stupid stuff happening in the Double E that you gotta pay attention to. Lots of news to go over, not just with the return to live touring, unfortunate passings in the world of professional wrestling, some releases from the WWE, confirmed or otherwise. We're gonna talk about that. And also talk more about the live touring. The WWE milk carton is alive and kicking, even though Monday Night Raw had a lumberjack match to destroy the milk carton, and even though our stalwart of the milk carton has been released from the WWE, we have a brand new stalwart, and he is the only performer who has not been on television since last year. So keep that in mind. And then finally, we're going to do some fantasy booking. Why are we doing some fantasy booking so early for WrestleMania next year? My glass of ice, because we're going to celebrate last week WrestleMania Backlash Predictions from WrestleMania Backlash, undefeated. 5-0. No locks failed. Every lock successful. No tequila. No tequila for another 4 weeks. Because here in 4 weeks' time, we go to the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. So tequila free for 4 weeks. Hallelujah. Oh, that's good. You can stay down there. Luna Zool, you can stay down there. But just because this is a tequila-free show, it doesn't mean it's going to be a sober show. But before I dip into the sources that I'm so happy to dip into, this is going to be very good. But before I dip into the sources, I've got to do the pleasantries first. You've smashed them, you've stacked them, you've pinned them, and I've got to acknowledge you. If you're in the chat room now, you say, wee! If you're not in the chat room, there's not a damn thing I can do about that. Who is all in the chat room right now? I saw Daniel he was the first comment ever. This is the first time ever that I've seen Daniel make the first comment in the chat room. So good on you, Daniel. Good on you. I see Jamel. I see CJ. I see Mishoon's in the chat room going, wee! I see, who else? Mediocre Lewis is in there. Who else is in there? I will acknowledge you. Absolutely, Daniel. You deserve it. You deserve it, you know? There's Jamel going, wee! Who else is in there? I know y'all want to show up for this show because this is going to be a good one, okay? Because I love it when we do these fantasy booking shows because everyone in the chat room gets to jump in with me to try to figure out what the hell we're doing for WrestleMania next year. And I know we're so far out, but these are the most fun. These are the fun times when we fantasy book. But before we also do that, we're going to be going back and do a recap of what Fantasy Booking 101. We have to remind ourselves the essentials of fantasy booking. All right. Man, I'm licking my lips at this. No tequila today. Just because there's no tequila that doesn't mean it's going to be a sober show. I have 2 bottles of this. I got one for my birthday last year and another one for Christmas. And I have yet to open these. So I cannot wait. It is Glenfiddich single malt scotch whiskey. Single malt scotch. 12 years aged. Oh, I can't wait to try this. This bright and balanced single malt has matured for 12 years in Oloroso sherry and bourbon casks before mellowing in oak marrying tunes. Oh, yeah. Can't wait for this one. Everyone's going to ask the ABV. ABV is a 0.40. No, I mean, ABV is a 40. Okay. Yeah, so we're going to have some fun. How do you open these? How do you open these? There's the thing. No, that thing's not supposed to have it. Do I just turn it? I want to open you. I would like to imbibe you, Glenfiddich. Ah, there we go. Here we go. There we got it. There we go. There we got it. Ah! That makes me sad. All right, there we go. Let's try this again. There we go. I'm turning you. You are opening. There we go. Yeah. Cork. Ah, there we go. I want to smell. Ooh. Ooh. Jamel, with crowds coming back, I think we can officially leave the memories alone with regards to cinematic matches. Probably. We'll see. We'll see if we take a powder to the matches. Pour this guy in there on the rocks. Oh, yeah. God, I've been meaning to try this, and I'm trying to think of the right time to try it. And man, here we go. Mediocre James, have I tried the Rock's tequila yet? No, I have not, because they do not sell it here in the Carolinas. It's not sold here in North Carolina, and I would have to cross state lines to South Carolina to see if they sell it, and I am not one to drive over an hour and a half to get tequila, unless we, Deanna and myself, are doing some traveling, and we happen to stumble upon a liquor store that does sell it, and then I will get it. But the problem is that the tequila shots that I take are meant to be punishment. And so the Rock's tequila, I do not want to treat to the same level as the shitty Luna Azul Blanco, okay? So if I do get the Rocks Tequila, I will probably try it as a lemon shooter, maybe. No, I'll do it as a margarita. But the thing is, but it's also, I'd have to try the Rocks Tequila on the rocks, I think is what I'm trying to say. All right, here we go. Glenfiddich, 12 years aged. Oh, oh my God, that is smooth. Oh boy. This is gonna be trouble, kids. Ooh, this is gonna be trouble. This is smooth. This is ungodly smooth. Does not have the bite of Walker Black, that's for damn sure. And no, I will not try Stone Cold's beer. I think Stone Cold's beer is a Pilsner. I hate Pilsners. I can't stand Pilsners. I think he has an IPA, but it may be a weak IPA. Nah, and that's the other thing, too, is they don't sell Stone Cold's beer all the way over here. Nah, they wouldn't do that. All right. Oh, boy, this is going to be a fun show. Okay. Top 5 things to pay attention to from last week's Double E. Doug, why don't you cover AE-Dub? Because they can't stop botching. That's why. They just can't stop botching. But till then, we have the AE-Dub. I mean, no, we don't have the AE-Dub. You got the WWE. It's kicking in already. And it's returned. R-Truth off the milk carton. Finally, after I think at least 7 weeks or 8 weeks on the milk carton, the 24/7 title off the milk carton last Monday night. Akira Tozawa defeating or pinning R-Truth. You know what? Damn it. There we go. That's fine. Akira Tozawa pinning R-Truth backstage. So, finally, the 24/7 title off the milk carton. R-Truth and Akira Tozawa off the milk carton. Is that something worth celebrating? Is that really something worth paying attention to? I think it is. Because now with the 24/7 title back on Monday Night Raw, we can have more people on television. We could have more people chasing after the title. We could actually make this thing part of the show again, which I miss. I really, really do miss. Yeah. And on top of that, it incorporates a lot of performers that you don't normally see on television. Old Reckoning, you know, like Retribution people, Flapjack, Mia Yim, I mean, Reckoning could go after it. Hey, what if Keith Lee took it? You know, Grand Metalik and Lindsay Dorado. And Jamel bringing it up, I wonder how much longer the 24/7 title will be a thing. As long as they keep bringing people up to Raw and SmackDown, and as long as creative can't think of anything to do with their lower tier talent, the 24/7 title will always be a part of WWE television. God, I remember the stink that this caused when it was first introduced, but when we had live crowds, it was hilarious to see them running around the arena in the middle of matches and all that happening. It's returning. We're going back to live touring, and now the 24/7 title can be brought back to live crowds where we get Scooby-Doo chases all over the place. I'm gonna have to excuse me. I need to adjust. The green screen is bugging the hell out of me. Green screen bugging the hell out of me. There we go. There we go. Yeah, why not? What's wrong with the 24/7 title? Mike's trigger was epic. I'm going to be honest, I didn't watch, I didn't check out Mike and Victoria from last Monday's post-Raw show. I know that he was probably ticked off about the zombie match from WrestleMania Backlash. I'm sure Victoria was ticked that The Miz was injured. I'm sure that all kinds of stuff were just horrible. But you know what? I try to look on the bright side of life. You know, I try not to take this stuff too seriously, and the 24/7 title helps me with that. Not taking professional wrestling seriously. That's what the 24/7 title does. But if you like to take things seriously and you want to take professional wrestling seriously, well, there were some serious matches that happened. We had, God, what did we have? We had 2 title changes last week within the WWE. One of them is kind of a title that I don't particularly understand. It's the Heritage Cup from NXT UK. A-Kid, the holder of the Heritage Cup, lost to the now new Heritage Cup recipient or holder, title holder, Tyler Bate. If you must watch this match, okay? If you love the flippy-dippy, counterific, technical stuff, you would like this match. If you are a fan of the honors and the respects that the A-Kid is showing to the brand new champion, Tyler Bate, then this is the kind of match for you. The Heritage Cup, how it's defended is it's defended in rounds, is what it's defended in. And I guess it's in a pinning or scoring system of some kind. It is TNA convoluted. All right, it is TNA level convoluted. But the matches are still fun, and the matches are meant to tell the story of sportsmanship, supposed to tell the story of competition. That's what NXT UK really is. There isn't a whole lot of storyline, emotion-driven stuff within NXT UK, more so than NXT. NXT UK is your puro wrestle stuff of the WWE. If you enjoy New Japan style aesthetics in your wrestling matches, that is beyond NXT, that shows not really any level of cheesy or corny television antics, then NXT UK is for you. Is that why I like Walter so much? No, I just like Walter because he's just fucking fun to watch and hearing them cave in people's chests. But again, if that is your cup of tea, English breakfast or Scottish or Earl Grey or anything else, watch that match and you will be satisfied. You will be satisfied. Is it? I don't prefer it myself, but I acknowledge when something is pretty good. You're going to see me dip into the honors and the respects? Absolutely not. No, you're not going to see me dip into that. The second title change that happened last week, Bronson Reed, our new NXT North American champion. Defeated Johnny Gargano in a steel cage match to win the title. He had been chasing this title, I believe, for probably the past 8 or 9 months. And now here he is with it. This was okay. I merely bring this up because it's a title change. But it was an all right, fun match. I mean, it had plenty of high spots given by Gargano. Nice powerbomb spot by Bronson Reed. Giving him his little avalanche powerbomb from the top rope given to Gargano. But no, it was a fun match. Austin Theory on the outside for the way. But it was fun. You know, and it's good to see him. It's good to see, how do I put this? It's good to see a big boy with a title. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, Walter, yes, he's got a title. But it's good to see a big boy with a title, like Bronson Reed. You know, it evens everything out, I think, when it comes to the look of champions. You know, you've got your big muscular guys like Bobo and Roman Reigns. You've got your skinny guys you got your littler, smaller guys. You know what I'm getting at? Yeah, you know what I'm getting at. It's nice to see Bronson Reed finally finishing out the chase and getting the North American title. Grash and Andrew in the chat room going, wee! So yeah, it was a fun match, but I mean, it's not as fun as the next thing I'm going to talk about. I said before, there are some shows you have to watch that are off your radar. And NXT UK is one of them. Not because you want, the honors and the respects, but sometimes they'll have a character or they'll have someone on that program that is just unlike anyone else, that just captivates you and makes you smile. Enter Noam Dar. Noam Dar, you might remember from the Cruiserweight Championship tournament that they had way back when to establish the Cruiserweight title. And Noam Dar made some appearances in NXT. I think he did one match on Monday Night Raw about 3 years ago, something like that, 3 or 4 years ago. Well, here he is, an active member of the roster on NXT UK. He is honestly, their comedic performer. He is so deadpan, and with that English accent, the Scottish accent just wraps you in. And he has his own little talk show on NXT UK. And I'm going to be honest, I cannot remember the name of the show. But here he is doing an interview with Ilya Dragunov. And he says that Ilya is having so many emotional issues and so many emotional problems that Noam Dar introduces Ilya Dragunov to Lenny the therapy dog. Throughout the entire show, Noam he insults Ilya profusely throughout the program. Ilya would get up, get face to face with Noam Dar, then turn around, take the stuffed Lenny the therapy dog, and leave the set with Lenny the therapy dog. This is the kind of shit I like. Jamel saying, you lied to us. You said no goofy character stuff on NXT UK. This is the one goofy character they have. Okay? And it is... WWE has laid out the line for every single line of goofy that I want. Okay? They've got the Wwe, got Noam Dar, they got the 24/7 title. What more could I ever ask for from the WWE when it comes to them feeding my comedic hunger? Okay? The stupid hunger. The kind of hunger that, Jim Cornette frowns upon, saying that we have to stop doing phony bullshit in professional wrestling and take professional wrestling seriously. Shut up. No, I want phony bullshit. I want phony bullshit everywhere. Everyone that had a problem with the zombie match last Sunday, it was a commercial. You shouldn't look at it as a professional wrestling match. It was a commercial. And if you're angry about that match, I've got to ask you, were you that emotionally invested in the program between Damian Priest and The Miz to get angry about it? Were you really that emotionally invested? I mean, were you that turned off? You wanted to watch that pay-per-view last week and invest all your time for Damian Priest, The Miz, in a lumberjack match. Were you really that invested into it? Stop it. Stop it. It's a commercial. It's a commercial. So you shouldn't look at it as a professional wrestling match. Just a commercial. And I went and I got the commercial right. I predicted it right. You need comedic stuff in professional wrestling. It cannot be super serial all the time. It's professional wrestling, for crying out loud. Seriously. We're talking about professional wrestling here. Theater. And you're saying we got to take it seriously? No. Stop it. Yeah, Andrew bringing it up. The Indy Hartwell, Dexter Loomis stuff on NXT. Cameron Grimes being tormented by the $1 Million Man. How could you not like that stuff? And it's not wrestling related. It's not in the ring. It's not serious enough. Oh, get over yourself. You tuned into this television show to be entertained, and we're trying to entertain you in every facet possible. Whether it be characters and weird, wacky scenarios that they're put in, or it be in the ring so it can satiate your bloodlust. any way they're trying to entertain you. I'm entertained by this, you know? So there's that. But the number one thing to pay attention to, of course, was the physical return to physical activity of Alistair Black. Here he is running in on the fatal four-way Intercontinental match to close out SmackDown, delivering Black Mass to Big E, and Apollo Crews getting the pin to retain the Intercontinental title. I really have been digging how they have been introducing us to the Alistair Black character. The vignettes that they've been presenting of his with the silhouette animations and everything has been great. This is honestly a breath of fresh air when it comes to what we would think when we bring an NXT performer up to Raw or SmackDown. This is how you're supposed to properly introduce them. You give them vignettes to introduce them to us, because not everyone who watches Raw and SmackDown watches NXT. So you have to properly introduce them. They had to do it with Bianca Belair, shot her in 2 years ago after WrestleMania, and then took her off the face of the planet for 2 months so that they could do vignettes to introduce us to her after she was floundering on Monday Night Raw because no one knew who she was. That's why Keith Lee also isn't on television, even though I don't know if he still hasn't passed protocol of some kind. Whether it's a concussion protocol or COVID protocol, we're not sure. But I think that's the same case with Keith Lee. They are repackaging him, and they're going to introduce him to us as a character. That's what they're going to be doing. Could they have done this with Ricochet? They kind of tried, showing him doing flips on the beach when he first came up to Raw, but not so much. They can't really do that. They're doing that with Apollo Crews. This is repackaged number 2 or 3 with Apollo Crews, and it's finally latched on and worked. Gosh, you want another one? Look at Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn going through, repackage number 3 or number 4? He's now a conspiracy theorist? That's latched on. That's his now. Shinsuke Nakamura. They're repackaging him to try to make him a king. We're seeing repackages and reintroductions everywhere when it comes to former NXT performers. And it's needed. It is warranted. We gotta have it so that there's a reason for us to emotionally invest. Is Alistair Black worth investing in now? I mean, is this better than sitting in a dark room daring people to fight him when no one's going to knock on his door? Absolutely. Absolutely much better. Of course, this is going to lead us to a program with Big E and Alistair Black. So what does that leave for Apollo Crews? Probably matches with Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn on the outside to try to get into the fold with Apollo Crews so he can get closer to the Intercontinental title. We're going to see a triple threat between those three, I'm very sure. But everything is laid out now. The Alistair Black character is established. No room for fucking up now. You have no excuses now. Rumors going around, too, that they're trying to find a way to reintroduce Zelina Vega back into the WWE, trying to re-sign her, only because they see Alistair Black getting the repackaged deal. Stop it. Just stop it. No, stop it. She's too busy trying to make $5 on OnlyFans to look like sexy Melina from Mortal Kombat. Jamel saying it's time folks figure out the audience that watches Raw and SmackDown ain't the same audience that watches NXT. All three audiences are different. All three audiences, Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, are completely different. Completely different. But what's weird is the focus between the three shows, the focus needs to be on SmackDown. The focus is on SmackDown because we got a big gargantuan contract with Fox. We got to renew with them soon. Not with Raw and USA Network and NXT and USA Network. We've got to deal with Peacock and NBC Universal and Comcast to send us 5 years down the road, we're fine. We're fine with Raw and NXT. We can do whatever the hell we want over there. But this is the big one. We got to make sure that we have SmackDown as a proper professional wrestling show. And it's reflected in the card of this year's WrestleMania that we are going to look back on and try to postulate what next year's WrestleMania is going to be. So keep that in mind. The focus of the WWE's television shows is squarely on SmackDown. That's why Raw sucks. And honestly, that's why NXT, I think, is the better show of the three. NXT has got stuff happening all over the place. Andrew saying, think that was cause she shot. Oh, okay. Daniel going, will they release Dolph and Rude? And no. They're not going to release Ziggler and Rude. Stop it. No, they're not going to release Ziggler and Rude. That ain't happening. There's plenty more stuff they can do with Ziggler and Rude. At one point, they can split them up. Someone can swerve to babyface. We've got gatekeepers abound and keep them relevant on TV until about September or October, where we go ahead and do a superstar shakeup, where we do a new draft of some kind. So no one else is getting released for a while. If anyone's getting released, you'll know about it from the WWE milk carton. All right. So that's the top 5. We have a lot of news to cover. A ton of news to cover. And unfortunately, we have to start it off with the passing in professional wrestling. Wrong one. You guys are getting a good look there at the injury list. There we go. Former NWA Tag Team Champion Don Kernodle passed away last week at the age of 71. Being said that he had been dealing with a number of health issues, but no news on the cause of death, and made his professional wrestling debut in 73 right here in Jim Crockett Promotions here in the Carolinas. Regularly teamed with Sergeant Slaughter as the member of Slaughter's Cobra Corps faction. Initially managed by Gary Hart, he teamed with Bob Orton Jr. and held the tag team titles with him. He was never contracted to the WWF, but he lost to Rocky Johnson and Tito Santana to kind of bolster them in the 80s. Kernodle also worked events that were co-promoted by the WWF in 82 and 84 with the Tunney family at the Maple Leaf Gardens Arena in Toronto. And he won the NWA Canadian TV title from Jay Youngblood. There are a lot of performers that I need to watch matches of that have passed away that are very vague in my memory bank. Kernodle is definitely one of them. But the WWE issued a statement of his passing, saying here, quote, after a wrestling career at Elon College, which is right here in the Carolinas, right here, Kernodle broke into the sports entertainment world with Jim Crockett in 73. The grappler burst onto the scene of the National Wrestling Alliance as part of Sergeant Slaughter's Cobra Corps, teaming with Slaughter and Private Jim Nelson. The partnership spawned multiple NWA World and Mid-Atlantic Tag Team title reigns for Kernodle, battling the likes of Ricky Steamboat, Jay Youngblood, Iceman, King Parsons, and others. Kernodle competed with the WWE throughout 82 and 83 as a team with Nelson and in one-on-one bouts against Tito Santana and Rocky Johnson. After the singles stint, Kernodle returned to the NWA for memorable tag team runs with Bob Orton Jr. and Ivan Koloff. Kernodle stepped away from the NWA in 86, but continued to wrestle in many independent federations. Outside the ring, Kernodle served as a deputy sheriff with the Alamance County Sheriff's Office in North Carolina. Yeah, we're definitely going to have to check out some Kernodle. We're definitely going to have to, now that he's here in my home state. Yeah, we're going to have to definitely check on that one. Yeah, Jerome was in a rush writing a lot of stuff there. That's okay. Another unfortunate passing was the passing of Frankie Kazarian's father, AEW star Frankie Kazarian. He posted a very lengthy statement on Twitter last week regarding the passing of his father. So it's going to be some time before he returns to the ring, maybe. We'll see. But very, very unfortunate loss of Kazarian and Kazarian's father. All right. Starting July 16th, the WWE returns to the road with live fans in attendance for a 25-city tour. How many days is that going to entail? Well, first off, they announced this last Friday is when they announced this. They noted that additional tour stops and on-sale dates will be announced in the coming weeks. This 25-city schedule will run through Labor Day, September the 6th. So, 25 cities up to September the 6th. So we're looking at all television tapings and pay-per-views. Maybe some house shows here and there. But we'll see. These dates will be WWE's first regularly ticketed events with live in-person fans outside of Florida since March 2020. WrestleMania 37 was held this past April in a two-night event at Raymond James Stadium with limited fans in attendance. The first three events will be Friday, July the 16th, SmackDown at the Toyota Center in Houston. That is going to be the go-home show for Money in the Bank coming up that following Sunday in Fort Worth at Dickies Arena. And then Monday, we go to Dallas for the post Money in the Bank Raw at American Airlines. So those are our first three shows. The very first in live crowd show is going to be SmackDown. No shock, because once again, we still have to keep Fox happy. Kids, we got a $3 billion contract that we'd like to renew and make a lot bigger. How are we going to do that? Fox, you get the first live show that we've got returning. Oh, that's going to be big. I'm filling up ice in my cup because, damn, this stuff is good. Oh, this scotch is good. So, here, let me see, and I think I have another thing here. Yep. And also, because of this, and it was reported earlier that week, last week, before the announcement of returning to live touring, that Raw and SmackDown are apparently getting new stages and new entranceways. According to F4 Dub Online, the WWE has yet to formally announce, well, they did announce the date they were going back on the road because this report was brought up on last Tuesday, I believe. Yeah, last Tuesday. So apparently F4 Dub has got the inner fixture on engineering within the WWE, saying that we're going to get new stages for Raw and SmackDown. That's no shock. That's no shock. They're due for some new entranceways. Don't be surprised if we maybe get a logo change somewhere too. Don't be shocked about that. But to give you guys again some perspective on when it comes to the return to live touring and where they could be going. Go ahead and research in your own state what your COVID protocols are and what is allowed now for indoor arenas. I can tell you right now, here in the state of North Carolina, there is no mask mandate. It's only enforced by the businesses themselves. You've probably seen on your Facebook feeds, your Twitter feeds, that music festivals are up and running. Oh man, I have seen music festival after music festival after music festival promote their shows coming up for September and August. Everything's in full force. Here, especially in Charlotte, the Fillmore, Amos's South End, all of the small music venues are opening back up, bringing in music acts. When it comes to the Hornets games that happen over there in Charlotte, they're going to be opening back up to full capacity. Daniel shall bring it up in Ohio. Yeah, over at Progressive Field for my Cleveland Indians on June the 1st, they will be at 100% capacity for their baseball games. So it's being relaxed. It's being relaxed. Jamel saying, looking at Talking Stick here in Phoenix, the capacity is pretty full. Masks are still in effect. Andrew here in Tennessee, no mask mandate. Governor Lee wants full capacity at all events and sports. Grash, this is going to be easier. Is your governor a Republican? Ding, ding, ding. Then you've got a winner. No, our governor is a Democrat. Here in North Carolina, the governor is a Democrat. We have a Republican House and Senate. But I don't think they had nothing to do with Governor Cooper's announcing. He was solely looking at the CDC. That's what he's been going off of since the pandemic hit. Illinois businesses still have a mask mandate, says Mashoon. So what is right now just a 25-city tour up until Labor Day, we might be returning back to normal touring with the WWE. Thank God, because now the television shows won't suck. Not just because there's going to be a live crowd at the television shows. Don't get me wrong. Not just because of that. But I'm talking about we have house shows back. The focus groups are back. The WWE can now properly write for the talent that they have. These are going to be some exciting times. Okay, but we've got another 2 months till this happens. Mediocre Lewis, Bay Area in California is pretty much open. Jamel, same thing with Chase Field where the Diamondbacks play, pretty full with masks. Yeah, again, the Hurricanes games in Raleigh for hockey, 12,000 in the arena, but all wearing masks, which I was totally thankful for seeing. So that's what we might see. Hopefully. We'll see. And other federations followed suit. Ring of Honor announced live fans to return in July for the Best in the World pay-per-view. That's going to be over at the Employers Insurance Arena in Baltimore. If you like that horrible federation, Ring of Honor. But other things that are moving. AEW, Dynamite, next year is moving to TBS and not staying on TNT. And there is a new show that will be debuting this August for AEW. Tony Khan appeared on Busted Open Radio that morning. I think that was Thursday. No, it was last Wednesday. He appeared on Busted Open Radio and announced the new agreement with Warner Media that the AEW Dynamite in 2022 will be moving to TBS. They will be debuting a brand new show called Rampage, AEW Rampage, premiering on Friday nights at 10 o'clock. A 1-hour show on TNT that's going to premiere on August the 13th of this year. And then also 4 quarterly, quote-unquote, supercard television specials for TNT in 2022. So, AEW, brand new show in August on Fridays at 10 o'clock Eastern, 1-hour show. Is it going to be a new AEW Dark? Nah, I think it's going to be more like an AEW Hardcore. It's going to be an AEW Uncensored type show, AEW Rampage. Then in 2022, AEW Dynamite goes to TBS, and within 2022, Clash of Champions Supercard shows for AEW appearing 4 times on TNT. Sounds like a pretty decent move to me. Nothing about them moving to Tuesdays. Nothing about them saying that they are trying to compete with anybody in particular. Especially on that Friday night show that they're going to have debut in August. You're going to have that come out an hour after SmackDown. Let me go ahead and ask you guys something. Do you guys watch television on Friday nights after 10 o'clock at night? I have a hard enough time watching television on a Friday night, period. I'm going to watch it at 10 o'clock on a Friday night? We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Will AEW even be around in 2022, Daniel? Yes, they're going to be around. Stop it. Yes, they're going to be around. So, yeah. Mediocre Lewis says, yes, he does watch he does watch the television Friday nights at 10 o'clock. Oh, okay. He's got one. Daniel's another. Okay, sure. Okay. There's two. But, yeah, that's right, Machoon. That's right. AEW going to the total botched station. Because, oh boy, the botches are so rich and so thick on AEW right now. As long as they've got Luther and Luchasaurus, the botches are so delightful. Yeah, here's Warner Media and Tony Khan talking about their move and everything and blah, 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 blah. Andrade versus Kenny Omega is official for the AAA Mega title at this year's Triplemania 29 for Lucha Libre Worldwide AAA. Okay, Andrade's gonna win it. There you go. Oof. Man. Is anyone super psyched to watch this match? If you are, that's cool. I'm not. Frankly, I'm... Ugh. After Andrade's had his mitt, he's going to have his mitts on Alberto Del Rio. Ugh. All right, let's get into, I think, what a lot of the other news that people were talking about from last week. Last week, I believe it was last Wednesday. NXT talent, 6 NXT talent and 2 NXT referees were released by the WWE. That list includes Kavita Devi, Jessamine Duke, the stalwart of the WWE milk carton, Jessamine Duke, Ezra Judge, Skylar Story, Vanessa Bourne, and Alexander Wolf, who had just the night prior had a match against Killian Dane. Where all 6 of those NXT performers were released last Wednesday, along with referees Jake Clemens and Drake Wertz. Now, Drake Wertz is one that everyone has been yelling at the WWE to get rid of. Wertz, here we go. It was noted that Wertz had nuclear heat brought on by himself for the better part of a year. He was warned about attending events without a mask and not being vaccinated, and was known for loudly criticizing wrestlers for getting vaccinations or even flu shots. Additionally, there was said to be an incident last year when he stormed out of a Triple H speech prior to the NXT In Your House pay-per-view after Triple H mentioned that, and he was paraphrased by F4Dub Online as, quote, all people, races, genders, and religions are welcomed, which then led to Wertz becoming upset once religion was involved. Wertz also made controversial statements to the Seminole County Public School Board back in May 11th, which he said that wearing masks in schools assists predators who, quote, wish to prey upon our children, end quote. It was also noted that during a Seminole County Board of County Commissioners meeting earlier this month, he wore his NXT attire and argued against the mask mandate in the county, saying that, quote, child sex traffickers love COVID masks. Take a sip of stuff here. Drake Wertz, good riddance. Oh, God. It's about, Jamel, amen on this one. It's about time he was let go. He should have been let go a long time ago. This Joker is deep in the rabbit hole. I mean, really deep. If you have any friends or family members that are in this deep of a rabbit hole like Drake is, just leave them be. There's no hope. Really, there is no hope. Yeah. Jamel bringing it up. Yeah, he skipped out on work to go argue against mask mandates. He's a nut job. He's gone. Let's scroll down on this one. I normally don't say that we should scroll down, but let's scroll down on this one. Guy sounds like an absolute nutcase, says Moon Saves. Agreed. Agreed. The following day, Alexander Wolf would comment on his WWE release and say that he's now a free agent on June 16th. He basically said that his contract was going to expire on June the 15th. They didn't bring it up for renewal, so they released him. So, June 16th, he's up for bookings. Poor guy Alexander Wolf, I mean, injury prone. Injury prone was the thing. Check out the Survivor Series match. No, the NXT Survivor Series weekend match where it was Undisputed Era versus Imperium. And Wolf got himself knocked out during the middle of the match. Before that, he's had elbow issues, concussion issues. The guy, he's reckless. He was reckless. So, concussion prone. Gotta release him. Yeah. Kind of swings the door open for who would be the fourth member of Imperium. Thatcher? I'm actually thinking it's gonna be Tomato Chomper. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But there was one more release from the WWE. As per PW Insider and F4Dub Online, the Velveteen Dream was released by the WWE. He hadn't had a match since last December, and whenever there have been releases announced within the WWE, people still call out for why the Velveteen Dream wasn't released as well. The 6 releases of NXT performers and 2 releases of NXT referees were not followed by a confirmation by the WWE on Twitter. In fact, the WWE quietly moved profiles to the alumni page of those that had one that had been released. What about Velveteen Dream? Was the Velveteen Dream released? Well, here we are on NXT, on the NXT main page of the WWE.com. Here's the main roster. NXT. Well, looky there. Can you guys see it? I don't know if you guys can see it. I don't think you can. Let me see here. Yeah, it doesn't look like you guys could see it because he's over on that opposite side. So we're just gonna zoom in. I can't, there we go. Maybe it'll shift over for you. But he's there. Yeah, he is there. Yeah, I'd have to finagle a little bit on my end. But he is there. Yeah, Velveteen Dream is on the roster page. Let me see if there's... Yeah, I guess I can just go ahead and do that. Here, hold on. Yeah, let me do some technical stuff. There he is. You see him? There he is. Velveteen Dream. Still on the roster page. For NXT. Yeah, look, I'm just saying that he's still on the main roster page. But you know, that same argument can be made for a lot of other things. Let me go back to that story. I need to get all that. Sorry, I've got to get all that organized there. There we go. Now, I understand that, you know, but Doug, other people are on the profile page, and they have not been released. Well, look, here's the alumni page. I'm just going to scroll down. Yep, there's Alexander Wolf. He was released on Wednesday, and they put him up on the alumni page. They did it for Alexander Wolf. Why aren't they doing it for Velveteen Dream? Hey, I wonder if Jessamine Duke's on here. Well, I'll be damned. Look, there she is. Jessamine Duke hasn't been on TV since last September. And they moved her to the alumni page. Huh? What's going on? I'm just showing you what is out there. Okay? Are we to believe that the Velveteen Dream has been released by the WWE? I don't know. Also on the WWE's main roster page for Monday Night Raw, Charlie Caruso is still on their roster page. Yeah. So, hell, you want to see something interesting on here? Let me see. Yeah, there's Chelsea Green. You know how long Chelsea Green was on the main roster page after she had been released during the spring cleaning? 3 weeks. They finally moved her to the alumni page after doing jack and squat like Jessamine Duke. So look, is Vanessa Bourne on the page? Oh, sure. We'll scroll on down here. Yeah, see if we can find Vanessa Bourne. If I've got to alter my page a little bit, yeah, I'll do it. But yeah, I scrolled through this alumni page, and yeah, all of them that were released are on the alumni page. There's Vicky Guerrero, so yep, I've got to alter it again because she is there. There she is. Vanessa Bourne. Yep, there she is. Where's Mojo? Oh, who cares about Mojo? Gives a damn about Mojo. Here he is. Mojo Rawley's on there. So look, the WWE has a handle on their roster page, okay? They know what they have, okay? It's just seriously, I think people are just trying to find an excuse to say that the Velveteen Dream has been released. And they're using WWE's lack of confirming it via Twitter to do it. That's all. So, those are my 2 cents. I'm not saying that he hasn't been released, but I'm just saying don't be surprised if it's wrong. Speaking of being surprised if it's wrong. So, Impact Wrestling is promoting Slammiversary coming up this July live on pay-per-view. And they teased the arrival of Daniel Bryan, the Iconics, and the Forgotten Sons, Wesley Blake and Steve Cutler. Last month's promo featured quick images of recently released performers of Samoa Joe, Chelsea Green, and Mickie James. Ah, boy. Several sources reported that Daniel Bryan's WWE contract expired that night that he had his final match on SmackDown, and the WWE was, quote, pushing hard for him to sign a new deal. In past interviews, Daniel Bryan has said that he wants to do unconventional work with and for the WWE. He also said that in those same interviews, he would want to spend more time with his family. This promo by Impact Wrestling is kind of falls in line with last year's Slammiversary promo, where they flashed images of Eric Young, Kurt Hawkins, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, Drake Maverick, EC3, Mike, and Maria Kanellis, who were all released during the spring cleaning. EC3 and Gallows and Anderson would appear at Slammiversary, while Drake Maverick returned to the WWE Kurt Hawkins would later appear in Impact. Mike and Maria Kanellis, no, not so much. So, man, Impact, we are trying our damnedest to get noticed here, aren't we? Oh, boy. Man, it is rough times. These are rough times for the Impact. Oh, and by the way, Jon Moxley's coming out with a book. If you're simultaneously into reading and Jon Moxley, go right ahead. Hopefully, if you can just imagine reading it and having that enthusiastic voice of his in your mind as you're reading it, I'm sure it would be a fascinating read. Oh, boy. On the injury front, oh boy, do we got to talk injuries. Yeah, let's talk injuries here. All right, everyone's pissed. Why are they pissed? They're pissed about zombies on Sunday, and they're pissed that The Miz suffered an ACL tear from that match at WrestleMania Backlash. It's believed that the injury is going to keep him out for 9 months. The report from F4Dub Online indicates that the tear took place when Damian Priest landed on The Miz's legs after a spinning kick off the top rope. The Miz was still able to work the remainder of the match, but sold his knee repeatedly. After his loss, Miz was then eaten by the Zombos. During last Monday's Raw, the John Morrison dedicated his match to The Miz's memory and lost to Damian Priest in a lumberjack match. So, 9 months will The Miz be out. First injury ever in his, I believe, more than 13-year career. This would then lead to the New York Post saying that zombies at WrestleMania Backlash is one of WWE's saddest moments ever. Joseph Staszewski of the New York Post said this. All right. From the New York Post writer regarding the zombie match at WrestleMania Backlash. WrestleMania Backlash continued a recent string of WWE pay-per-view filled with great matches and compelling stories, but many will remember this one for the terrible, cheap plug zombies. Thankfully, the actual wrestling was good enough to stop one of the company's worst ideas from truly dragging the show into the muck. Zombie lumberjacks. Yes, read that again. WWE turned the lumberjacks for the Miz Damian Priest match into zombies as basically a big ad for Dave Bautista's new movie Army of the Dead, which sponsored the show. Kudos to those two and John Morrison for trying to make the most of this absolute disaster. Priest and Miz even teamed up to fight the zombies at one point. The WWE did put the zombies in context by showing a tweet from Batista saying he couldn't make it, but, quote, some of my friends will. It all made for one of the worst things the WWE has ever done. They even dimmed the lights and filled the Thunderdome video board with spooky house graphics. Is this really the worst thing the WWE has ever done? Really? Is this the worst thing the WWE has ever done? Really? I mean, I'm not one to question Joseph Staszewski from the New York Post, which, for one thing, first off, if you take the New York Post seriously, then you have no humanity in your soul whatsoever. Okay. I'm only bringing this up because this is something that's actually put on what could be considered a newspaper website. Professional wrestling reviews on a newspaper website? Seriously, is this the worst thing the WWE has ever done? Really? I think this is more a reflection on how old Joseph Staszewski is. I can name for you 10 things the WWE has done that are far worse than this and were on network television. live. This is nowhere near any of the worst things they've done ever. Stop it. Just stop it. I have a hard enough time trying to talk people away from the cliff's edge when it comes to this, let alone trying to convince someone who works for an established newspaper that this isn't the worst thing. There are way worse things that have happened that the WWE has done. I don't need to list them. Just go to WrestleCrap.com and go nuts. Okay? Stop it. And also, if I'd have known better, if I'd have known that, God, man, what are his credentials? He's writing for the New York Post and that's his statement? Dear Lord, with how knowledgeable I am of this shit, I should be getting a job writing professional wrestling reviews for the New York Times or the Washington Post or the Wall Street Journal or an actually respectable and commendable newspaper. Hey, LA Times, I've been watching this shit for over 35 years and I've got a more broad vocabulary, way more open-minded, and way more in-depth than this joker. I can name you so many things, but no. You guys can look them up for yourself, and you even know what they are. Finally, Impact Wrestling star Eddie Edwards is reportedly dealing with appendicitis, according to F4W Online. It's being said that Edwards was in Nashville last Monday, presumably for another set of Impact Wrestling tapings, but then he's got appendicitis, but he's there for the tapings. His recovery is said to take at least a month or longer, depending on the severity, and also any kind of post-surgery protocol. So, he was last seen on the last taped event for Impact. Under Siege is what it was. Yeah, poor guy. Get well soon, Eddie. Appendicitis sucks. The injury front. Here they are. Becky Lynch, the tiny human, was extracted from her tom-tom. She's been working out. She's been getting ready to get back into the ring. TV tapings return with live crowds July 16th for SmackDown. The go home to go into Money in the Bank, which will be with a live crowd. How does Becky Lynch winning Money in the Bank sound? How does that sound? Lacey Evans has a tiny human in her tom-tom. She's not going to be returning until Royal Rumble times next year. The Miz, torn ACL, out for 9 months. We're going to be a little optimistic and say he may be back for Survivor Series of this year. If not, he may not return until Royal Rumble times or beyond. Tegan Knox, third torn ACL in her career. If her career's not over, she should be back in time for SummerSlam. Ridge Holland ruptured his patella on live television. He's not going to be back until SummerSlam times. Arturo Ruas had a torn rotator cuff nearly 6 months ago. He's back. No, I mean, not back. I mean, it's healed. He's rehabbing, and he's tweeting pictures hanging around his family. He ain't wrestling at all. He's going to be released. They aren't doing shit with him. They're writing out his contract on injury time. And finally, Danny Birch, dislocated shoulder. He should be returning sometime next month, is what we're looking at. Yeah, dislocated shoulder on live television. He should be back next month to reunite with Oni Lorcan, to possibly reform with Pete Dunne, and we'll see what happens there. But those are the people that are hurt. What about the people who aren't hurt? What about the people who are perfectly healthy? What about the people who haven't been on WWE television or pay-per-view for, say, 3 weeks? They end up on a very special list. A list of my own design. A list that did shrink. We lost our stalwart.
and I made a judgment call. Velveteen Dream is off the milk carton. But it still grows. Even though some people become lumberjacks on an episode of Monday Night Raw, they still show up. Big names show up on the WWE milk carton. What was it called again, Doug? Oh, God, I've got to tell you again. I just let it out of the bag. Oh, God. This is a horrible segue. It's a WWE milk carton.
Oh, that scotch tastes so good. I'm so surprised I'm walking in a straight line. Hooey!
Oh, it's hitting, and it's hitting good. This is some good stuff. Let's kick things off with the big name that I was talking about, Adam Cole. Haven't seen him since the April 27th episode of NXT, where it was part of an interview that he was having at poolside or something about, you know, what is he doing after Kyle O'Reilly? And then after the interview, Kyle O'Reilly was seen watching it and just chuckling and walking away. Apparently, Adam Cole is still part of the NXT roster. He is still taunting that he still wants to go after the NXT title, regardless of who's got it. So let's send away the rumors of him appearing on Raw and SmackDown for now. For now, let's get rid of those rumors. If I could imagine him going to Raw or SmackDown, it would be this calendar year. But we've got to have a live crowd. It's not going to be before the live crowds show up. That's for sure. There we go. Boa. And no, just Boa. Well, Xia Li will be there too. Actually, let me rearrange this here a little bit. There we go. Boa and Xia Li. We haven't seen them since that same episode on April the 27th of NXT, where they were part of a vignette to "You Should Be Afraid of Chinese Ghosts," is what it was. I have enjoyed the buildup of those two and Tian Sha as the Chinese paranormal people, the angry Chinese people. But it's been 3 weeks. Frankly, I'm frightened right now. If they do not show up on NXT this week, I'm scared. Io Shirai. Haven't seen her since the April 20th episode of NXT. This was the NXT that followed Stand and Deliver and WrestleMania and all of that good stuff. Haven't seen her since then. Yes, the emotional range of Io Shirai is infinitesimal. I cannot believe that NXT is still on the air when we have her on the shelf for the past 4 weeks. Io Shirai, everything about her is so dynamic, so captivating. She enjoys falling off things. She loves putting things over her body to leap off of things. Is she bound for Raw or SmackDown? Who the hell knows? If she were to join Raw, she would only add maybe 1,000% of character. She's your waifu. Oh, God. Sasha Banks, speaking of waifus, haven't seen her since the April 16th episode of SmackDown. Actually, April the 20th was 2 weeks following WrestleMania. So April 16th, she was giving an interview on SmackDown, giving her a reaction to Bianca Belair winning the title, and she just went, ugh, and walked away. And there we go. That pretty much sums up every single time that Sasha Banks loses at WrestleMania. She leaves. We aren't going to see her for about 4 or 5 months. She's going to cook up some crazy spots that only she wants to do. She's going to jeopardize her career and someone else's career. She's going to give herself a concussion. She'll be out for another 4 months. So there you go. And they won't release her. No, they can't afford to release her. So for all of the talk that we keep having of who is the most dangerous person on the roster, Even though Roderick Strong turned in his termination papers, his resignation papers on April the 13th episode of NXT, and Marina Shafir, his wife, was standing there by his side, Marina Shafir is still on the main roster. Roderick Strong's not on the main roster. They got him on the alumni page, but not Marina Shafir. What's Marina Shafir doing? Taking pictures of her kids and showing pictures that she's a great wife and mother on WWE's dime. I'm so glad this Joker's not on TV. How the fuck you gonna repackage this? Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, whatever the fuck he is this week. Haven't seen him since the April 12th episode of Monday Night Raw, the Raw following WrestleMania, where weird, wacky shit happened in his match between him and Randy Orton. What are we doing? Well, we're doing Bobo Lashley, Kofi Kingston for now. It's going to be a nice filler until the Fiend shows up. The Fiend is going to show up and go after Bobo. It's going to happen. And those are going to be horrible times. Edge. We haven't seen Edge since night 2 of WrestleMania, the main event of that night 2, on April the 11th, where it was the triple threat with him, Daniel Bryan, facing off against Roman Reigns for the Universal title. He was stacked and smashed and pinned, and we had to acknowledge Roman Reigns and his shiny teeth that he was our Lord and Savior and Tribal Chief. The Edge hasn't shown up since then, and that's fine. He can show up randomly at any time and make his presence felt. Could he be at the Money in the Bank match? I'm just saying. Becky Lynch returning to be in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Edge returning to potentially win a third Money in the Bank at the age of Methuselah. I'm just saying. Just saying. Oh my God, I feel a lot coming on. I feel locks happening. We went undefeated. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling frosty. I know I've made mistakes like this before, but damn it, this one sounds really good. This one sounds really good. Yes, lock it. Lock it. Go ahead and lock it. Lock it. Becky Lynch and Edge at their respective Money in the Bank ladder matches. Whether they are announced prior to the match or a surprise entrant during the match. Bork Laser did it in 2019. Nothing saying that it can't happen between those two. I'm locking it. Doing it. Sure. Not a double lock. But yeah, I'll do it. Sure. You jokers remember that. Yeah, we'll lock that. Becky Lynch and Edge will be at the Money in the Bank ladder matches. Jamel, didn't I make a lock about Velveteen Dream? I made a lock about Velveteen Dream being in the Royal Rumble match and fail. I remember that one. Murphy. Haven't seen Murphy since the April 19th episode of SmackDown. It was the Ender the Giant Memorial Battle Royale, and Flapjack was there too. We haven't seen either of those jokers since then, and I don't think we're going to see them for a while unless we ship them off to 205 Live. Malcolm Bivens. This weirdo. Haven't seen him since the March 31st Battle Royale on NXT to determine, what was it, #1 contender for the NXT North American title? I think that's what it was. Or was it to determine an entrant into something? I can't remember. Oh yeah, it was involving the North American title. It was a Battle Royale to find out the 6 entrants into a gauntlet match to determine who would face off against Johnny Gargano for the NXT North American title. Yeah. This Joker. Haven't seen him since then. Mia Yim. Haven't seen her since the March 21st Fastlane pay-per-view. No, wait, that's Reckoning. We haven't seen Reckoning since Fastlane on March 21st, where she was at ringside when it was Mustafa Ali versus Riddle for the United States title. It was after that match that Retribution split up. Mace and T-Bar are enjoying limited exposure on Monday Night Raw without a mask. Mustafa Ali is a lumberjack. Flapjack hasn't been seen for a while, and nor has Reckoning. And Reckoning's husband and Reckoning's waifu, Keith Lee. Reckoning's waifu, Keith Lee. Mediocre Lewis saying Mia is his waifu. You guys have your own waifus, don't you? I think my waifu is Nia Jax, because she destroys all waifus. No, I don't do waifus. No, I don't do waifus. Keith Lee, haven't seen him since the February 8th episode of Monday Night Raw, where he faced off against Matt Riddle. This was before Matt Riddle got the United States title. Keith Lee is active on the social media, on the Twitter. He's trying to be as positive as he can. I'm pretty sure that he will return once we have live crowds. And we might see a repackaging of him. But it ain't going to be on Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw does not do repackages that well, unless you are Eva Marie. Daniels, Alexa Bliss is his waifu. Jamel's waifus are Xia Li and Naomi. Andrew's got several because he's a pig. And finally, the stalwart of the WWE milk carton, Riddick Moss. We haven't seen him since last September, September 21st, where he was locked underground on Monday Night Raw. Thought he was a cage fighter or a pit fighter fighting Arturo Ruas. Dabba-Kato was there too. Well, Dabba-Kato left underground, joined the Nigerian military, and became a commander and changed his name to Aziz. Riddick Moss. Why hasn't he joined the Nigerian military? I'm sure he could. He would make a fine brigadier general. Why hasn't he joined the Nigerian military? He's still trapped underground. He's trapped in concrete underneath the Thunderdome of Monday Night Raw. No, Mashoon, it's not Stallworth. It's Stalwart. Stalwart. Stalwart of the WWE milk cart. All waifus all the time. Oh, God. Stop it. That's your WWE milk carton right there. Who's scheduled to show up this week if they don't show up on TV? I'm looking at... There's an interesting name. There's one name that I'm very fascinated in that'll be showing up if he doesn't show up on TV. But I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 new entrants to the WWE milk carton if they don't show up this week. Pretty even, too. A lot of them coming from SmackDown. But, so there. There's your WWE milk carton. Oh, Jamel saying Aziz is half Nigerian and Apollo is full Nigerian. Aziz is half Nigerian, half Polish. No, seriously. Polish. Not lying. Okay, there's your milk carton. All right, I've had enough. I've got enough scotch in me. Do I have more ice? I need more. I got more ice. I got more. Get out of there. I need my one cube. There we go. Got it. I got my ice. I got more scotch. Let's top off. Yeah. because we are celebrating tequila free. No tequila, plenty of great scotch. And now is the time. We're back to live touring starting July 16th with the Go Home show for Money in the Bank on SmackDown. Now is the best time to book WrestleMania. All right, before we even try this, and oh boy, this is going to be fun, okay? Before we even try to book next year's WrestleMania, we've got to take a trip back to Fantasy Booking 101. Everyone fantasy books. I love fantasy booking. Professional wrestling fans love fantasy booking, where we think of, God, wouldn't it be great if X was versus Y, or it was A versus Q in a steel cage match with flames everywhere, and a health insurance policy was on a pole. You know, mediocre Lewis tapping out. Fantasy Booking 101. Before we do any fantasy booking, we have to understand the rules for fantasy booking. First off, number one, remember everything. And when I mean remember everything, it's not just what's happened recently on television for the past calendar year or 2 years. It's the past 5 years. Remember everything that's been happening. Storylines come around in full force with the WWE and make you go, oh, but they also, you better remember how previous matches were booked and how long things happen. Seriously, remember everything that you've ever watched in professional wrestling. Need it. Number two, book for the long haul. If we are going to be doing some fantasy booking, we need to book long programs, not just one shots, not just, oh, it'd be great to see this match happen. Well, how are you doing that? How are you going to have this match? And why is this match so important? Do we have to reintroduce a character of some kind? Is a swerve involved? How many matches or instances of interaction are they going to have on television leading up to this match? Is this a 1 month program, a 3 month? Could it be a 9 month program like Orton and The Fiend? Or like Rollins' programs? Seriously, look at Seth Rollins' programs. There is not one single program from Seth Rollins that did not last less than 2 months. Always book for the long haul, and that's what we're doing for WrestleMania. We're booking WrestleMania. We're booking the program meant for the long haul. You book the story. Number three, you book the story. It's not about the match. It's not about the moves in the match. It's not about how you would love to see a counter for a counter within a counter. It's not about how you would like to see a flippy dippy sunset power bomb, razzmatazz 450, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's not about the moves. It's about what the moves tell us story-wise. Is it going to be involving, is this going to be an injury work? Is this going to be a move work to where you'll never get this move on me work? What kind of story are we booking here? Are we going after a title, or is this a grudge match? Why are we having the grudge match? Why is this person angry? How will this be reflected in the match and within the program 1 month, 4 months, 7 months down the line? Think like a writer. Finally, the important one, and I have fallen victim to it for the past year more than anyone else. It's not about you. Number 4, it's not about you. It's not about what you want to see. It's about what's going to get the most eyeballs. It's about what's going to be the most entertaining. It's what's going to be the most receptive to the most people. And you've got to understand that everyone does not think like you do. You've got to think in broad terms. You've got to think of a way to make your match and your program easy to follow with bite-sized morsels. That's not too convoluted. It doesn't involve something that's you're going to need a flow chart and an abacus and a bunch of post-it notes on the board separated with yarn. No, it's not about you. I have fallen victim to that more than anyone else. Oh God, just say the name Walter with me. I want to do so much, but I can't. It's not about me. So, without further ado, all right, let's take a trip down memory lane and try to book WrestleMania. I want to book WrestleMania. God damn it, I want to book WrestleMania. I'm booking WrestleMania. There we go. All right, what we see here, first off, let's establish that next year's WrestleMania is going to have the same card as last year's WrestleMania. I was incredibly ambitious about booking last year's WrestleMania within the calendar year. So here we go. What you see here on the board is WrestleMania from this year, night 1 and night 2. 14 match card, 7 matches in each night. These are the exact matches that we had. Andrew, are we going with 2 nights or 1 night? No, it's going to be 2 nights. This is what they're doing. They are doing 2 nights for WrestleMania. No question. No question at all. If they did 2 nights at Raymond James Stadium this year, they'll do 2 nights at Jerryland, all right, in Dallas. So, all right, here we go. 2 nights of WrestleMania. Here is the card from this year that we've got. Night 1, Drew McIntyre facing off against Bobo Lashley for the WWE title. We had a tag team turmoil match to determine the number 1 contenders for the women's tag team titles. Cesaro versus Rollins in a grudge match. Omos and Styles defeated the New Day for the Raw tag team titles. Shane McMahon versus Braun Strowman in a steel cage match. Bad Bunny and Damian Priest versus The Miz and John Morrison in a tag match. And it ended with Bianca Belair defeating Sasha Banks for the SmackDown Women's title. Night 2, The Fiend versus Randall Orton in a wacky-ass grudge match. Natalya and Tamina faced Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax for the women's tag team titles. Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn with some YouTube asshole in the background warranted their match. Riddle versus Sheamus in a potato-laden U.S. title match. Apollo Crews versus Big E for the Intercontinental title, which introduced us to Commander Aziz. Rhea Ripley defeating Asuka for the Raw Women's title. And finally, the triple threat for the Universal title. Daniel Bryan and Edge lost to Roman Reigns after he smashed them and stacked them. There we go. There is the card for last year's WrestleMania. I want to use this template for next year's WrestleMania. And not just being 2 nights with 7 matches per, but also the title matches and types of matches that we had as well. So first off, I am going to highlight and color differently the Cesaro Rollins match. I'm going to highlight in yellow the Shane Strowman match that was in a steel cage. I'm going to highlight, and oh God, why did I? No, I did that wrong. There we go. We're going to do, there we go. Shane and Strowman in a steel cage is going to be in yellow. The Bunny Priest Miz Morrison match is going to be in yellow. Owens Zayn is going to be in yellow. Fiend Orton is going to be in yellow. There we go. I highlighted these matches. Oh, so the turmoil match we'll put in yellow. All of the matches that are in yellow. Tag team turmoil match, Cesaro Rollins, Shane Strowman, tag team match with Bad Bunny, Fiend Orton, Owens and Zayn. The ones in yellow are all grudge matches. They could be from either show or any show. But those are the grudge matches that we have. The matches that you see in red and blue are Raw or SmackDown centric, involving titles. And then the green is the women's tag team match. So, 6 grudge matches that we could potentially have. 5, says Jamel, but 6 we can potentially have. All right. Whew. Where are we going to start? Let's start at night 1. Will Bobo Lashley still be our WWE champion? If not, who? And once we figure that out, who are they booking to be champion at WrestleMania? I've got this one in mind. I already know what it'll be. And I don't think it's going to be changed. Ever. Grash saying he'd put the Turmoil in green. It's a #1 contenders match for night 2. Well, we're not going to... I put the women's tag in green because it encompasses all shows. Okay? The tag team turmoil match, not so much. Yeah. WWE title match. Drew McIntyre will be in it as a challenger. I want to get the horrible thoughts out of my head. I want the worst out of my head right now. It'll be McIntyre facing off against the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, who will be WWE champion. Bray Wyatt will be WWE champion going in to WrestleMania. Andrew saying there's part of me wanting to say Bork Laser. There's nothing saying that Bork Laser can't come back. It wouldn't shock me. I think that there's a clause in his contract, or he re-signed a contract saying that he will not show up until they're back in live arenas. Oh, Grash saying the tag team turmoil is not a grudge match. That's your point. I got this. I got you. Okay, I'll tell you what. For the sake of argument, I'll just go ahead and we'll do that. We'll go ahead and make the tag team turmoil match in green. All right, that's fine. That's fine. All right. But I Drew McIntyre Fiend for the WWE title. Maybe. I know CJ saying I want to fight you now. I'm not happy saying this. Okay, but I'm trying to work with what we know. You got to work with what you know. All right. I would love Bork Laser versus the Fiend, and Bork winning the title, but Bork would go to SmackDown. Bork would be on SmackDown because it's Fox. Monday Night Raw is a shit show. Whatever the hell we want for Monday Night Raw, we can do. It don't matter. We could do a clusterfuck for the WWE title for all we want. But, Andrew, I think Mike quits Wrestleview if the Fiend wins the belt. Yeah, he would. I would be doing the show by myself. Let me see. I want to knock the title matches out of the way first. I think we should deal with the title matches first, because those will be the easiest. We've got to really think about the grudge matches. All right. This next one, where it was Omos and Styles versus the New Day for the Raw Tag Team titles. This can be any show's tag team titles, Raw or SmackDown. Raw or SmackDown. Either one. Right now, Omos and Styles have the Raw Tag Team titles. Over on SmackDown are the Mysterios. CJ asking, are we getting Bork and Roman? Dude, get there when we get there. Just chill. We got to go down the line and go through the nights and book the show. Okay? Tim McCain Cross versus Fiend for the title in Texas. They find a way. No, Tim. Fantasy Booking 101. It's not about you. It's not about you. Stop it. All right, tag team titles. What are we doing? The Usos are coming back together on SmackDown. They might come back on SmackDown. It might take a few matches between the Usos for it to happen. It might take a disintegration within Roman's Godfather-like family for it to happen. Michoud's bringing it up there. The Usos versus the Mysterios. But is that going to happen before WrestleMania is what I'm asking. That match is definitely going to happen. But will Usos Mysterios happen before WrestleMania? Can we drag it long to pan out to WrestleMania? I think we can. But are we really doing that at the expense of the Mysterios? I mean, really? Ooh, this is going to be rough. Because I would think the Usos that you would want them to be the baby faces in that match. Are the Mysterios the baby faces? Or is this an honor and respects match? On the Monday Night Raw side, it's just a clusterfuck. Who the hell? Maybe the Viking Raiders get in there. Maybe. I haven't mentioned the Street Profits. Oh my God, have they fallen off the face of the planet? Street Profits have fallen off the face of this good green earth. I have got a feeling we're going to see a clusterfuck of a tag team match involving some great stuff from SmackDown. And it's going to be a ladder match. TLC. WrestleMania. How long has it been since we've had a traditional TLC triple threat tag team match for tag team titles? It can happen this coming WrestleMania. I'm doing the Usos. I'm doing the Profits. I'm doing the Mysterios. It's going to be TLC for the SmackDown tag titles. How you like them apples? That's something we can book. That's something we can easily book. I mean, think about it. We can exchange titles between the three teams leading up to it. Why not? Jamel bringing it up, 2001. It's been 20 years since the original TLC. Why not? Why the hell not? TLC 2 is 20 years old. It's been a while since there's been a traditional TLC match at a WrestleMania. And what I mean a while, I think maybe 2 or 3 years, maybe. Rash, there's no reason to do TLC. The teams are associated are gone. Ladder, yes, but not TLC. Well, but I mean, that's the selling point of the match. The selling point of the match is to call it TLC. And it's going to have a ladder involved in the and the titles are going to be up there. It's what a TLC match is. Titles up in the air. Ladder, get them. Tables and chairs are everywhere. It's a fucking ladder match. Who the fuck cares? But that's what it is. That's what the selling point is going to be. Oh my God, no one can read anything else that's happening underneath my thing. Oh my God. Oh my God, that's not good. We have got to adjust that real quick. We can do that. There we go. There we go. Now you can read it. Sorry. Let's go down here. The SmackDown Women's title. SmackDown Women's title. Bianca Belair currently has the title. She's in a program with Bayley. That's probably going to reach out another 1 or 2 months. Then we're going to have the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match is going to happen. And then after that, there's going to be a superstar shakeup. Who the hell knows? Who could be on the SmackDown roster? CJ asking about Rey Mysterio's knees for the TLC match. Who gives a fuck about Rey's knees? Dominic's knees are perfectly fine. Rey isn't doing any of that wacky shit. SmackDown Women's title. Bianca Belair is currently the champion. Bayley is going after it. Would Sasha Banks be champion going into WrestleMania? If Becky Lynch is going into Money in the Bank and maybe won Money in the Bank and maybe cashed in or says that she could cash in at WrestleMania a la her husband, oh boy, we're getting deep here. We're getting really deep here. Superstar shakeup. SmackDown gets the best because, you know, we got to get a $3 billion contract from Fox. Machoon saying Sasha and Carmella will be involved. Carmella's only had one match in the past 10 weeks. Sasha is trying to find herself once again. I don't know about that. Charlotte Flair? You gonna send her over to SmackDown? Could send Charlotte over to SmackDown. Charlotte Flair versus Bianca Belair. Sounds like a gimme. That sounds like a layup to me. Jamel saying all that I know is Tamina will be involved. Tamina's already had her moment in the sun. Nah, it won't surprise me that they lose those tag titles in the next 3 months. Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair sounds delightful. You know what sounds even more delightful? And I hope that she comes back soon. It's Lacey Evans. Lacey Evans, Bianca Belair sounds absolutely delightful. Just how the delivery of Lacey Evans's lines to Bianca Belair, and Belair with her attitude and how she delivers her lines against the Southern white aristocratic like with class Lacey Evans, the promos would be excellent. The buildup would be fantastic. God, that sounds good. And I can build on that. And that doesn't even have to involve the Royal Rumble or Money in the Bank. But also Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair sounds really good too. The problem is both of those won the Royal Rumble. So if they're going to have a program, it's going to be outside of Royal Rumble or Money in the Bank when it happens. That's fine. I can take that. And I can take Lacey Evans taking a back seat to all of it if that happens. So yeah, we'll do that. I will take Flair, Bianca Belair for the SmackDown Women's title. I can see a superstar shakeup happening, Charlotte Flair going to SmackDown. Fox wants her. Yeah, Fox takes her. Fox gets Flair. Can totally see that. We can build that. organically without Royal Rumble, without Money in the Bank. Totally can. All right. Let's get over here to the United States title. Oh, God, mid-card titles are horrible. Always the great thing to fall back on when it comes to mid-card titles is you're going to have a clusterfuck. The problem is, last year we had no clusterfucks. They were singles matches. Are they still going to be singles matches? Or are they going to be clusterfucks? We have no idea who's going to be in the mid-card going into this. So, I mean, it's safe to make them clusterfucks. But I want to have fun with this. I want us to have fun with this. First off, pardon me on this one, but since we've designated the Fiend in a match, I'm taking him off of the grudge match with Orton from last year so we can get some continuity here. Sheamus right now is doing open challenge programs with absolute no names on the roster. Yes, Ricochet is a no name. Is Sheamus still going to be having the title going into WrestleMania? Probably not. Probably going to be 2 title changes going into WrestleMania. Mashoon saying Keith Lee versus Sheamus. I see Keith Lee being United States champion against Sheamus. I don't know. I think Sheamus is going to be doing something else. I could see Keith Lee in the U.S. title picture, but right now we don't even know if he'll still be with the company or not. I see a triple threat happening with Orton, Riddle, and Sheamus down the line. This one's weird. Grash saying this could be Sheamus's last year. We say that for the past 2 or 3 years. I'm done trying to predict people's final matches. I'm done trying to do that. Priest could be a part of the mid-card, says McTim. Yep, he sure could. Miz could be a part of it. Miz could come back from injury. Morrison could be a part of it. There could be a superstar shakeup and someone from SmackDown could be part of it. You know what? We gotta create an insurance policy here. No, it's gonna be a clusterfuck. No, clusterfuck. We don't know. Same thing with the Intercontinental title. Mid-card titles, we cannot predict right now because who the hell knows? Clusterfuck. Absolute clusterfuck. No. Not going to take chances on that. All right. Raw Women's title. We shipped Charlotte Flair to SmackDown to face off against Bianca Belair, who might lose her title within the year span leading into WrestleMania, and we don't know. But again, it's not Money in the Bank dependent. It's not Royal Rumble dependent. That's the SmackDown one. On Monday Night Raw Women's title match will involve the winner of the Women's Royal Rumble match. The Raw Women's title will have the Royal Rumble winner. Andrew saying it's Alexa Bliss versus someone. Mashoon saying Big E returns the Raw to challenge for the U.S. title. Sure, but right now we got to put it at a clusterfuck. We have no idea. Raw Women's title. The Women's Royal Rumble winner will challenge for the Raw Women's title. Okay. Well, since we had her winning Money in the Bank, it's going to be the meme Becky Lynch. That's what I call her. I call her the meme. But, for now, I think we'll change that. Noah just put Lynch in there, so no, that reminds. Ava Marie versus someone. Oh, I'd love that. Oh, if Ava Marie was my champion going to WrestleMania, oh, I'd be so happy. But no, I don't think that's going to happen. Becky Lynch is the champion going in to the Raw Women's title match of WrestleMania. Does Alexa Bliss win the Royal Rumble? Yeah. She could. Also, we could have a whole Daniel Bryan issue, just like what would happen this year. And someone wins an Elimination Chamber match to challenge for the Raw Women's title, and, you know, all kinds of talking and stuff is happening. So why not? Let's throw Wwe Returns into the mix. Don't mind me. I'm going to get rid of that line for the women's tag team titles up there so you all can see what's happening. All right. Let's do Wwe Returns, Alexa Bliss, and Becky Lynch in a triple threat for the Raw Women's title. Oh, I know that's gruesome. But if we can have triple threats on the men's side, they should happen on the women's side. It happened 2 years ago with WrestleMania. It can happen again, but it wouldn't be a main event. It would not be a main event. Not at all. No, what I see with this one is Becky Lynch is the Raw Women's Champion. Alexa Bliss or Wwe Returns wins the Royal Rumble, but either one of them also gets into a program with Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's title, is what I see. All right, finally. Well, not finally. We're not done with this yet. Oh, God. Universal Championship. Daniel Bryan, Edge, Roman Reigns in a triple threat was last year. Will Roman Reigns still be Universal Champion going into WrestleMania next year? Yes. Emphatically, yes. Yes. Roman Reigns will be Universal Champion going into WrestleMania. Will it involve a title change? No. 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 Absolutely not. Shit, I got hiccups. Taking a deep breath to get rid of it. To get rid of hiccups, you got to take a deep breath, hold your breath for a hard 3 or 4 seconds, and exhale slowly. That's how you get rid of hiccups. Roman Reigns is going to be champion. Damn it, they came back. All right, Andrew and CJ, this is for you. This is for you, okay? Bork, Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. Got the hiccups, I don't care. It's hitting and it's so good. So good. Bork Laser may return to the WWE. God, how was that for some noises? Oh, how did the dinosaurs get eradicated from the earth? Well, they farted, hiccuped, and belched at the same time. No, The Rock is not going to show up. Crash, stop it. All right. Daniel saying Roman versus Edge, Bobo versus Lesnar? No. Bork versus Roman for the Universal title. Bork versus Reigns for the Universal title. God! Get rid of the hiccups. All right. There we go. Trying to get rid of the hiccups there. Tim saying Reigns versus Big E, that can happen within the year. Reigns versus Big E can happen through the calendar year. Cesaro versus Rollins was a grudge match last year at WrestleMania. What could be a grudge match this year? What could be a grudge match this year? Oh, God, this is going to hurt. Maybe, for now, I think I'm just going to label these as grudges. Because really, we have no idea what they could be. You know? But we could possibly label the type of match that we like a stipulation match, if you would so be inclined to have. Yeah, let's do that first. Let's label these as grudges. No! Wrong one. I want it to be this one. There we go. Yeah, these are the most difficult to figure out. These are the most difficult matches to figure out. Yeah. This women's tag turmoil match, I'm about to turn into a grudge. I think that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Don't worry, we can change any of these grudge matches into a title match if we would like. We want to incorporate the Raw tag team titles into this. Or an NXT title. There's nothing wrong with that. Flair versus Whipley for the NXT women's title happened 2 years ago. So, I mean, last year. Why not? Andrew asking some Texas-related gimmick match. All right. We're going to have a gimmick match. There's going to be a garbage brawl of some kind, okay? Whether it be a steel cage, Hell in a Cell, hardcore match, something like that, that's going to happen. So you know what? I'm going to put that for night one. We're going to have a hardcore match. We're going to have a hardcore match on night one leading up to Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair for the SmackDown Women's title. Surprise grudge match, Mandy Rose, Dana Brooke, says Machoon. God, no. Dana Brooke may not have a job. She has been botcherific. It's been bad for those two. Oh, really bad. There are a lot of missing names from this card, but you got to keep in mind that they may be incorporated in clusterfucks, or they could be in some grudge matches. Okay? So, yeah, we're missing a lot of names, but we have a lot of calendar year to go with. Who knows who may be called up from NXT and could end up going to WrestleMania this year. Austin is the host, says Andrew, so there may be a gimmick involved. Austin may be a host, but then he'll be in part in some kind of segment involving stunning somebody. Okay? Not necessarily in a match. Okay? So, don't take Austin things seriously. He's going to be in a segment of some kind, stun someone, and chug beer. Is what he's going to do. These are the title matches that I've got in mind for WrestleMania next year. We will probably revisit this after SummerSlam. And we will maybe have more of a firm grasp on the grudge matches and on the women's tag title matches also. To me, the women's tag match is going to be a clusterfuck of some kind. They don't really concentrate on that. But the grudge matches is a different thing. And especially one of them being a potential hardcore match. But we're going to sit on this for now. We'll come back to it around SummerSlam. Hopefully I have gone undefeated at SummerSlam. And my record will... Look at my record! 24-12. Look at that. I am batting Satan down there. All right? So, yeah, we're just going to hold off on this for now because It's getting really late and I'm hungry.